Testing, testing. I continue with this very playful series. They're dead simple scripts. They're just allowing me the freedom to do whatever I want. As you can see, I've kind of got onto a furniture kick, having a little fun with that. And I'll show you how I'm kind of making these forms. Not too hard for the mathematician in you, but let's have a peek. Visibility. Oh, grab all that, put it away, and we'll just go back to shaded mode. What do? I bring in a circle. I then find the curvature of that circle. And why I did that was I could throw in a gene pool of a bunch of items, 20 items. And it gives me all these points along this curve wherever I want, as long as I reparameterize the curve. And it'll give you this set of vectors, which you can't see, and this set of vectors you can't see. But let me show you what those look like. You got the visualized vectors coming out this way, and you get the visualized going up. So there you go. You got two things to play with. And of course, that changes whenever you hit a random on here, 10%, 1%, 100%, whatever you want. And in doing so, I've got some data. And once I have some data and I've got some points to start with and some vectors to go from, let me jump out of this. That's enough to start building anything, in my opinion, because I already got it in my head. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lines, I'm going to lift, I'm going to design the lines, first of all, randomness. Not randomness, but actually I could do random. But I did a range, and I could put it through a jitter, but I didn't. A domain running from 0.2 all the way up to 2.0. And the list length comes out of one of the vectors, so that matches data. So when I move it, I can loft them all in different heights. So that's a pretty cool little system there. You've taken all these curves and loft them all different ways in Z. Like I said, you could throw the jitter on there, but I'm going to stay away from that. Once you loft it, you get this wild curve that kind of walks its way up as a ribbon tool cut out of steel. Now, you can find a way to bend that, work a 1/4-inch plate, and you've got some skills. I mean, you can always, like I said, take these over the mesh, carve them up, weld them together, make the units. But as for a very parametric cool model surface, I then throw it through my similar algorithm that I did in all these top 3 exercises before this, dealing with curves. So I'm going to bring in that trim surface into iso trim, curve closest point, evaluate surface, and extrude. And bam, I'm left with it. Now, all I did past that was do a quick little rotation on it so I could have this copy and this copy, because that would balance it out and give it 2 legs. And once I deconstruct the breps there and pull the curves, I can pull the top line. Didn't have to pull them both, but I did. I could have used the same line for both. It's kind of ridiculous that I did that. I wouldn't have to find this list item in the other one unless it comes up different for some reason when I change the script. So if it's working and I've done extra work, I'll leave it until it goes bust. Then what I'm going to do is take that geometry and move them in different directions. I had to flip the curve because the loft wasn't working with the alignment under the option tools. For some reason, when I was setting that up, it was having a little trouble in the option tool here, loft options, alignment. Even though I selected it, it wasn't twisting it back into shape, so I had to flip my curve. Then I take the extrude and I got a little top. Once I have my top, I have my bottom. I got this crazy shape. I'm loving it. It's changed a little bit. Let's go back into artistic mode and all the other ways of viewing it. There's your fun little object kind of stretched out doing some crazy things. You can change the height of that if you wanted to. Maybe we'll leave it in here so we can have a peek at it. And let's throw it through a couple iterations and a couple of bakes. And sometimes when I'm doing that, I'll pull this object as a final geometry. I'll just grab a geometry node like this, which isn't going to kill me. Grab that, pull it back to wherever I want to do some real playfulness on here. So I'm going to come back to the start and say, okay, well, there it is. And I can bake that one, which is kind of ugly. Not really in love with it. Group it all together. There we go. Takes a second to bake it. Move that one out of the way. Actually, I have to move it out of the way a little farther. And there we go. Got my grid snap on. These are very small items. Now I'm just going to go in here and hit a randomize there. And I ended up with something here. Now, obviously, it came out differently. And now I'll have to go back and do that little change because I'm not capping this side. So let me just do it again until I get some randomness that actually bakes even or odd number into a straight tabletop. These are kind of crazy. There's another one. So let's grab that little bake and do that one. There are no rules on this. I mean, when it came to, nobody has the ability to tell me what to, I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to think, and I'm not going to tell anybody direct my hand in what I do as an artist. So I'm going to go back in here and do another customized shape. Not happy with that one. Randomized. There's another one. Grab it. Sometimes I group them after I bake them. Let's grab another bake. And we've got another iteration. Bamf. Grab it. Probably just throw it in a group. If not a join. Didn't join up as one's. I'm having trouble with it. Oh, it was saying, do you want that one selected? Yeah, I just wasn't reading my own thing. So there we go. We got a little different there. It's not too different. What I can do is come in here and do edit, pull that down into maybe 10. That might make for a different shape. There we go. We got something a little different. Pull that one in as a bake. You could use multiple gene pools if you want to change, if you wanted to not bother changing these too much. So let's pull that one in this direction. And there we go. We've got a few items plus a ghosted image of Grasshopper. I'll leave that right here so we don't see it. And now I've got my strange little tabletops with this cool kind of, plywood finish base. It makes planning and sketching and drawing so immediate with mass customization to what you're doing. You get a handle of all these nodes. You don't forget the 700 core nodes that they give you in Grasshopper, and you should be able to see this as you start to make it. I'm just going to take that one off because I don't like my script out of order. I'm going to grab that whole jumpy thing, throw it into here, say I find it decent. I've got a weird color pattern, how I'm happy with things, and we will continue with curves, jumping into analysis, and that was just playing with curvature. Let's go into curve frame and see what we can come up with as a new piece of furniture. And it's always good to have a bit of an idea, so it's going to give me a frame. It's pretty boring, a curve parameter and a frame, but if I start incorporating that with a couple other nodes, I can start to make this interested. I don't use derivatives too often, but they are a pretty powerful tool if you're into calculus in any way. And evaluate curve, we definitely are going to use for tangents and angles. And all you have to do is get about 40 of these in here. And now horizontal and perpendicular frames I use quite a bit. I usually use perp more than horizontal, so we'll probably grab that one. Point on curve I use all the time, and I've not done much with torsion. So that'll be the real fun one. And I'll just put that in a little group here and give it a little color. Well, sometimes when you only have one node, it's hard to get into the color correctly. Let's pull it down in the red and give it a little danger red, because that's going to be a fun one to play with. So we'll just keep going with this. Thanks very much for watching.